welcome to Mad for the Euros. Look at the lineup today. We've got Flo in the building. We've got that, like the lineup is just too crazy, and it's for a special group. It's for England. Group B. How's everybody doing this evening?
Good. Chilling.
Bonjour.
Always great when I see you guys.
That's the wrong group, Gav.
That's in a couple of days' time, isn't
it? But yeah, before we start, as you can see, everybody's Twitter names are flying up on the bottom. But if everybody just say where we can find you if you want to be found.
I said that.
Sometimes I don't even want to be found in it, but you find me, innit?
You can find us on Mad Sports Net. You know, Mad Sports Net, Mad Sports Network, where you're watching this. That's where you'll find myself, Mad Devo, at Devo LDN, all day, every day on the Mad Sports Network.
And of course, at GavMat23, and where you can find us, all of us here together, having fun and talking about the Rugelspiel, as I'll call it, between my mates, the old football.
Yeah, and lower on tweets if you want to find me on Twitter, but I have to admit I'm not that active over there. If you're looking for me at Instagram, just type in the lower on and somehow you will find me. I guess it's a pretty unique name, so try your best.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure everybody's gonna go look for us because we're that special. I do feel a bit left out. I don't have this hat, and I'm pretty sure you two sleep in these hats as well. But when you're feeling like being generous, I'm going to send you my address, and that will be delivered anytime this week. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll have it in time for the Euros.
Yeah,
I think you'll have it in time for the Euros.
I think the fella that you're repping there, he's got enough support. So send some support our way. You know
that's what I'm saying, man. I need to change my hats, man. I got a nice hat collection, and that one is missing. So yeah, let's get it cracking. Group D. Let's get the first squad up. Who's our first squad that we've got today?
Who do you fancy?
Shall we save England?
Let's save England till last.
Let's save England.
Let's have a look at Czech Republic.
Yeah. Boo.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got Czech Republic up on the screen. Two players that obviously stick out for anybody that watches the Premiership is Kufal and Souček, who have both had, for me, they've had really, really good seasons, especially Souček. I mean, people were calling him Fellaini at the start of the season, but as the season sort of went on, we actually realized that the guy is actually a very, very good footballer. Pavlenka, you guys, I'm sure you could tell me a bit about Pavlenka in goal.
Yeah.
How good is it?
Not the best of seasons for him. I mean, him personally, he didn't really put much of a foot wrong, especially in the Pokal Cup semi-final. He was immense in that. And he is a good goalkeeper, to be fair. And there were some decent players dotted around that squad. It's not as weak a Czech squad as it was a few years ago. They've got some decent players come through, all kind of at the same time. Janko at Sampdoria has had a good season. Who else they got? They got Vidra at Burnley, who's a dangerous player in his day. Patrick Schick, who Flo will obviously know as he plays for his beloved Leverkusen, who can be dangerous on his day, but also sometimes just looks like he can't be bothered. But there's some good players in that squad, and they could be dangerous on their day. No one should really overlook them.
Yeah, I mean, what sticks out to me is that some of this, quite a bit of this squad actually didn't play in the qualifiers. I know, obviously, the qualifiers are quite a while ago, but so many of them, people like Callas, Zima, Holes, there's about 8 players that never played in the qualifiers for the Euros. Do you see that as a massive thing?
You can, but at the same time, you go out and pick the players that are best. And this is something we're going to talk about England in a little bit anyway, but this is something that England love to do. It's like, well, these are our players. We don't care how well you've played so far. You're not going to get into this clique. Whereas these guys, they don't care. They had a bit of an issue as well during the qualifiers where they had to field a side of kids pretty much because COVID hit their camp. And they didn't have anyone pretty much. So it is slightly different to the side that they played in qualifiers, but Yeah, we've picked out a couple of players already. One player who feel super sorry for is Pavel Kadabek, and I'm intrigued to see what sort of formation they're going to play, because he's a right back. He's had a good season for Hoffenheim. Played quite a bit during the in the Europa League as well. But you can't look past Soufal in any way, shape, or form. So I do feel for him. I don't know whether they might try and play like a three at the back with the right side of centre half, and that way they'll be able to equate for both of them. We'll see what happens with that. And one player I'm looking forward to seeing again is Jakub Jankto as well. He plays for Sampdoria. He's a tricky winger. Plays on the left for Sampdoria. He is getting involved with stuff. He's not highly sought after, but he is one of the players that I feel is under the radar that could have a really good tournament.
Yeah, so in the qualifiers, they scored 13 goals to qualify for the Euros.
That's why it's all apart.
Yeah.
This could be a point where one player could come into the game you didn't talk about so far, and it's Adam Lojek. I mean, he's 18 years old only, and he didn't play in the qualifiers, obviously, because he was way younger then. And he's playing his second season for Sparta Prague. From my point of view, one of the most interesting talents in Eastern European football. And I don't expect him to be like the leading player in their squad, but yes, some gear, and I hope some idea in the Euros. That's one of my favorites. If you watch the Bundesliga show, you would have heard me saying this more often. But I hope he can bring some of his talent on the pitch, and maybe could be a factor in the offense of Czech Republic.
Yeah, I think they've got one or two, like as you said, hidden gems that not many people know about. Alex Krau being another one, the Spartak Moscow, who's been reportedly going to West Ham this summer as well. So he could be another one who's playing for a move, and that's some motivation when you're looking to get a big ass money move to England. So I expect him to want to put on a show, especially against England, against Declan Rice. If you're being lined up to possibly play alongside him, you're going to want to show what you can do.
/ replace him. He looks a lot like David Luiz.
He does, yeah. Curly hair, afro.
Got him in a sticker album.
That's exactly what you need in it, David Luiz in the Premiership. So they conceded 11 goals, so that's a goal difference of 2 plus 2. So they don't score many, but they don't concede many, which again is another good thing. And I know we said it on past shows that a lot of these teams, that all they're going to do is they have to just stick together because they don't have that star man that some of the other teams have. They're just going to have to just, play as a team. And I think in cup competitions, that gets you far. I mean, we just have to look at Portugal in the last one, that when Ronaldo got injured, everybody was literally like, this is it now, the game's over. But as a team, they probably functioned better in that game when he came off the pitch, because they had to start working as a team because the star man was gone. So realistically, is anybody are they seriously thinking Czech Republic are getting out of this group?
No, but I don't think they'll come last.
I don't know. In this tournament, you have when you're able to qualify for knockout stage as a third in the group, it's always possible. They just need one win against Scotland, for example, maybe grab a point here and there with England or Croatia, and then this is it. And you're qualified for the knockout stages. So there's always a chance in these huge Euros with 24 teams.
And one thing I noticed that their team, most of their players are 27, 28, 29. So they're in the peak of their powers at the moment. So this is probably the best time for this group of players to, if they're going to cause an upset, because you would think the next Euros comes along, they're going to all be too old. So do you think that age thing is going to help them?
No,
not really. I think what might help is some of their players have got big game experience over the last season or so, with Slavia Prague's run in the Europa League and Souček and Soufal being in the Premier League. Yeah. I think things like that, Sheik being in Bundesliga for a while, that could help them.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Croatia. Again, another team that with our age, I'm not quite sure how old Flo is, but our age group, Czech Republic and Croatia were like big. They had massive players. They had great players. And again, it's sad to sort of look at it and see that. I mean, they still have ballers. They still have quite a few ballers in the team. They've got Kovacic, obviously. Still got Luka Modric, Perisic. So they've still got quite a few players. Rebic at AC Milan. Who sticks out for you guys?
Man, there's some ballers in this team. You know, you look at obviously Kovacic, Brozovic, those guys that have been there and these guys have been playing together for what seems like 10, 12 years. It's crazy. But I look at Brekalo and Kramaric. I like Brekalo. I've said it repeatedly in the Bundesliga show. And Kramaric is just a goal scorer. Kramaric scores goals. He's bagged 20 goals this season and missed a large chunk of the season. So my baby's going off.
It is first thing in the morning, so fair enough.
Yeah, I think Croatia will be there or thereabouts with England at the top of this group. I think they're a very talented squad. And as you're saying about Czech Republic being of a certain age, this is Modric's last chance. Perisic probably won't be around for much longer in an international scene. So these guys have to do something in this tournament.
I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do in midfield because Modric will have to play. He has to.
That was my next question. I was going to aim it at Flo. Flo, looking at that midfield, I think this is their best chance of winning games is in that midfield. Just the amount of talent that they have. Who sticks out for you in that midfield? I mean, let's not look at Modric because obviously Modric is Modric, but who else sticks out for you?
Yeah, next to Modric in that midfield, I would always play with 4-3-3 and I would have them covered by Kovacic and Brozovic. And I believe they played many matches together alongside and have some routines with each other. But I would disagree with you in saying that this team is maybe become better because from my point of view, it was on their peak in 2018. And now you see players like Kovacic, Mandzukic even retired from the national team, Lovren, Vida, they're always getting older and older. And I fancy England to win that group, but I guess we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, with that midfield, they're missing out Pasalic.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's been brilliant, So then it's like, how do you focus aside without him being a part of it as well? So it's they've got talent all over the place in the middle of the park, but I don't trust them. I don't trust them elsewhere anymore. Not anymore.
I think defensively, because Kaleta Carr at Marseille, he's sought after. He almost got the move to Liverpool. Brodaric, a left back at Lille, he's a good baller. I think they've got some decent players there. They're about Lovren's, for all people laugh at him, he's a solid centre back. He has been a solid centre back for a long time.
I mean, him and Vida, they've been around for a while, isn't it? So they've played in loads of tournaments. So I think, and the thing is, they're both only 31.
Yeah,
so it's not like that's not like you're not ancient at 31. As a central defender, that's probably these are like the big years for you. So I think I wouldn't say they're a sleeping giant, but I think
dark horse. Yeah,
they're a dark horse. They're definitely a dark horse. Not just for the group, but for actually getting through to quite far in this competition.
World Cup finalists.
Yeah, true. If we're gonna say the star man, who would you give that to?
It's got to be Modric, isn't it? It's got to be Luka Modric. As much as I would like to say someone else, Luka Modric is that guy. He's still pulling strings at Real Madrid. He doesn't seem to have lost much of a beat. He's one of those footballers who it was never really about pace for him. It was all up here. He's a very intelligent footballer, and I think if he plays well, Croatia will play well.
I'm on the lookout for Nikola Vlasic. That's who I'm looking out for this time out. He is what Modric used to do in his younger days when he was at Spurs, sort of like playing in front of the... What's that? Pretty much. Hey, that's right. Three gooners in the room. So, no, like he plays Modric, he never used to play so deep, did he? He was able to, like, if you were playing like a 4-2-3-1, I wouldn't quite put him in a number 10 position, if you want to call it that.
Would you put him in false 9?
No, but like if you got a double pivot there, then you can play Vlasic in front, and that's exactly what Modric used to do.
Yeah.
Again, tight defending, 7 goals conceded in qualifying, and they scored 17. So slightly better with a +10 in qualifying. Again, I think they're just one of those countries that are just good at defending, and they're just hard to beat. They're hard to break down. So
yeah, I think obviously with Modric in the quarterback role.
That's on the ban list. That's on the ban list as well. That's on the ban list, and he's been out and he's taking something off the ban list and he's put it on there. So Flo, I've got a load of these words that I just don't allow people to say. XG is like one of them. Quarterback role is one of them. Double pivot. I hate all of these words, and Dave has just got to say the quarterback role, knowing that I hate that.
My double pivot went under the radar.
Yeah.
Oh
I heard that as well. I heard that when he's like, yeah, you can just be right in front of the double pivot. I did hear that, but I let you off.
Sorry.
When you're trying to hold a laugh in so much, it just makes you hot. That is me right now. I've got such a sweat on.
Sorry.
Sorry, Gunner man. I'm not sorry at all.
No worries. But
I'm trying not to do that again.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that one slide. So Croatia, we'll get to where we think everyone's gonna finish in the group. Let's get on to everybody's favorite team, Scotland.
Indeed,
Scotland.
This
Scottish.
team, man, it's one of those ones where they've got Robertson and they've got Tierney. They got Robertson and they got Tierney. They got
McTominay as well. Yeah,
McTominay's got heart. Billy Gilmore's still a child. John McGinn, to be fair, is actually a baller. So
doesn't ball out as much as Stuart Armstrong. I'm sorry, Stuart Armstrong.
I think that is their strength. Their midfield is actually this, because Ryan Christie's a good player. Stuart Armstrong's a good player. Ryan Fraser we've seen what Ryan Fraser can do at Bournemouth. He hasn't done it as Newcastle, but see what he can do. And Scott McTominay, people laugh at him, but I think he's a very good player. Man United generally look better with him in their midfield. It's just because he hasn't got the name, and Man United fans are all about names, that they don't like McTominay.
Two positions that really worry me about them is centre back and up front. I mean, Che Adams, to be fair to him, he has had a good season at Southampton. Obviously, Danny Ings is going to take all the plaudits because he is the one that has been getting the goals. But Che Adams is very central to how they play, to be fair. And he does a lot of the hard work. So I think he will be a good player for him. But I just can't see where Scotland are really going to win games. Flo, can you see it?
Well, I obviously hope they're gonna grab some points or win games.
Florian McWolfram.
I also have much love for England, so I was really troubled before the show which jersey to wear. But I can't see them scoring many goals, and I hope for them maybe defending as good as possible. And I hope they play as they played in the qualification match against Serbia with McTominay as a centre back, because I really like that part. He's not a player who is creative going forward, but he's solid in defending, and he has some good opening of the play. And centre back would be a position that could favor him in this team and could help this team. But
I think
maybe they draw 3 times 0-0 and grab a spot.
I mean, it's funny you said that, because I'm just looking at how they qualified them. Somehow they've conceded 20 goals and only scored 17. And still, obviously, you could have got spanked in one of those. But still, that is pretty bad to concede more than you score. They won 5, lost 5, and drawn 2. How do you see them setting up? Because I've got a funny feeling that Kieran Tierney is going to be playing centre back. They'll probably go 3 at the back. And
they'll go 3 at the back. They'll have Tierney left centre back and Robertson left back. and their strength is that side of the pitch.
That's
You know, that is their strength, and you know, I think especially against England and stuff like that. This is what I was saying before in another conversation. If England played Trent against Scotland, Robertson would fancy just pinning him back, and with Tierney on the inside, you know you've got cover. I think you're going to see a lot of Robertson getting the ball high up the pitch for Scotland, because that's going to be just chucking the balls in the box for the likes of Landon Dykes, who's good in the air.
Battle, man. That will be one of the best battles.
I think I can see when England play Scotland, he'll play Kyle Walker. I think he'll play
Kyle Walker and James. I think he'll probably go for it in the back as well.
I'll match up. But yeah, I think Scotland, as much as I don't like to say it, they're the weakest team in this group by some way. But you know, they're a team full of passion merchants, and they'll probably, their passion will probably get them through.
That's another
one thing I love about this Scotland side is if you take the goalkeepers out of the equation, only one player is 30 or older in this whole squad. That means a lot. I'm not trying to say that Scotland are about to embark on a new horizon and become a global powerhouse in football. But when you've got a team that is that young, and when you do mention those names like Robertson, who's 27, Scott McTominay's, what is he, 23, 24? Billy Gilmore, he's still a kid. So these are players that could go on and start doing something in the next stage. Now, when I was with Two Up Top still, we did a live watch along for their playoff game in the final against it was Serbia, wasn't it? They played against. Yeah.
I loved that one, by the way. It was great.
You did, yeah. And I'll tell you what, right? That's when you saw true passion from the players on the pitch. It meant, look, obviously it's a playoff, so whoever wins this game is going to go through, but Scotland wanted it more. They knew ability wise they were no way able to compete with Serbia, but they believed that they could win, and they had heart and they had passion and desire, and that might be the thing that takes them over the line and gets them into third or even sneak into second in this group. You don't know. And like, honestly, give Stuart Armstrong the ball and let him enjoy himself. He's so damn skillful, and he will love to ping one from 25 yards out and let it hit the back of the net. So don't write him off.
I'm looking at the ages, and their three strikers are all 24 years old. So they are a young team. Look at their two goalkeepers, which both of them, I'm not sure who's going to get the nod out of Marshall and Gordon, but one's 36 and one's 38. So
imagine it'd be Marshall, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I reckon it'd be Marshall. Craig Gordon was once upon a time the most expensive British goalkeeper.
Yeah, he was.
Wasn't he?
Yeah. John McLaughlin is 34, so their three keepers are ridiculously old. Steve Clark, let's just talk about the coach for a second. How do you guys feel about him? Because I just feel like I think the Scottish job is one of the hardest jobs in football, to be fair, because their fans want a lot for what they can actually get from the country. Do you think he's obviously done well because he's got them to a major competition? How much credit are we going to give him?
Plenty. As an actual coach, he is phenomenal. As a manager, it's touch and go. But as a coach, he's worked with some of the best. And he's not just worked with some of the best, he's had his most successful times whilst working with some of the best. When Mourinho was in his pomp, who was his right-hand man? Steve Clark. As a player, when he was doing bits for Chelsea, when Chelsea won the FA Cup and got to FA Cup finals, he was knocking around. He was also part of, I believe, was it Aberdeen, wasn't he, as well?
I think he was manager of Aberdeen, yeah. I think so.
No, as a player. No, I think as a player, but like he's won so many honours as a player, and he's been able to take that on into his coaching and into management as well. It's just when you see coaches like him, coaches like Paul Clement, I feel sorry for him because they've had all the education that they need from the best managers out there, and it's like, right, okay, let's give you a go at management. I'll tell you what, let's go manage this crap side, and then they haven't got the resource in order to turn them around and turn them into something.
Still making excuses for him, Gav. It's
No,
not good
it's
enough in the number one
legit
seat.
though. It's legit though, isn't it?
Anyone can
that's the reason
shout.
why
Anyone
they're
can
doing it.
shout from the passenger
he's worked.
seat.
I mean, at Newcastle, he had Hullet. Then at Chelsea, he had Jose Mourinho. Then obviously, he was number 2 to Zola, Kenny Dalglish. So he has worked with a couple of people. And yeah, like you're saying, we need to give him a lot more respect than I think he actually has been getting, to be fair. Because to work with this group of Scottish players and get them, I know they have some of the best players that they've had in years, but it's still a good feat to get them through to where they are now. And yeah, last but not least, boom,
England,
the most interesting team. I just don't even know where to start, man. I'm looking at it and I'm seeing there's just names that are just Connor Cody and Tyrone Mings and
Tyrone Mings isn't even the best English defender at Villa. That winds me up.
I saw a crazy stat that he's only played 177 games. He's 28 years old, and that is less than Konza, less than Tomori, and less than somebody else. And the guy is he's 5 or 6 years older than all of these players. So when he's doing crazy things on the pitch, it's probably because he's inexperienced.
He has had 2 hideous injuries though in his career, and anytime he was starting to make a move, like what was it? It was Ipswich he came through at, and he got released, and then he was picked up by Bournemouth, and they had those injuries, like bad injuries, and then it's just he's had a bad time with injury.
It's not his body, man. It's his brain.
No, he is a very rash defender. He's not a defender who's blessed with composure.
And it's against players that are not. It's not like you're playing against Messi or Ronaldo. He was playing against some substandard players, and the guy's diving in. I don't know if you guys saw when he took out the striker in the last game.
Yeah.
Took him out
off the ball.
With his arm, just off the ball. And it's just why would you even do that? Flo, who out of this England team in that defense, who don't you rate that much?
All of them is not an answer, by the way.
So who's my favorite in that defense?
Who's your favorite, and then who shouldn't be in this team? Who don't you think should be in that team?
I really don't know, because I looked at the team and I couldn't make a difference between all of them. No one is coming a positive, extraordinary positive. Maybe I love Trent, but he was in a bad form this season and is injured now. I like the development of Ben Chilwell, but a year ago I would have said, or a year and a half ago, Harry Maguire is the most important player for them in the defense with his physical abilities. But I don't know whether he can lead the squad from behind. John Stones is, from my point of view, just too nice. He looks like the perfect son-in-law for me, but not like a defender you're afraid of. And they have quality in the defense, no doubt, but I don't know. There's no leader I would see who can just hold it all together. Maybe they should just try to do it as a team and grow all together.
And that's the thing that worries me, is exactly what you said there, is they're all good, but you be talking about them, but you would always use the word but after. So you say he could do this, but, and for every single one of them, there's not one where you just be like, okay, Rio Ferdinand or John Terry, they're great defenders, or Ashley Cole. There was never a but come after it, but every single one of those defenders, you'll talk about him, but then you'd be like, oh, but he's got this or he's got that. Does that worry any of you two?
Which I think would be okay if you had a solid goalkeeper behind them. And I think that's where the issue comes from. I think when you have defenders like John Stones, who I think is a very, very good defender, I think Harry Maguire, if he's fit, which is touch and go, I think those two make a great partnership, as they were in the last World Cup. Yeah. But
But
Here comes the back. We don't know about Harry Maguire, and Pickford's not the guy. You know, I think Sam Johnston played really well in the friendly against Romania.
That saved my
But
life.
that's a friendly. That's not European Championships. That's not pressure. I think this is where Southgate has to earn his money, because I think the top end of the pitch, and we're going to come on to why I don't like Southgate, but the top end of the pitch, he shouldn't even have to touch that. You just put their man on the pitch and say, look, you lot play. Let me work on the defense. And I think maybe this is why you see him play with such defensive-minded midfielders and try and play Henderson and Rice together, because he's afraid of these defenders that aren't necessarily at the same quality as the guys at the top end of the pitch. But for me, I'm the kind of guy that like just sweep that under the rug and let's focus. Look at this nice shiny toy I have up front with your Sanchos, your Kanes, your Sterlings, your Grealish, your Fodens. Let them man do what they're born to do. If you guys score 2 at that end, we're going to score 4. That's how we have to approach it.
Yeah. And I think that's the way they've got to approach it, because even today against Romania, they had Calvin Phillips and James Ward-Prowse, who I have to take back everything I said about him, because I watched him today and I was like, this guy's actually good. Like, he can play football, isn't it? And his deliveries are that good that they can win you games, just how good his deliveries are. But again, neither of them can sniff danger. So, like, we had the right back and the left back. We had Shaw and Godfrey bombing up, and not one of them covered them. So, like, England would lose the ball, and then both of those players are out of position, but no one was covering them.
That's where Declan Rice would do the job.
Yeah, so he's pretty much in that team. If Henderson's fit, then I would think it would be Henderson and Declan Rice. But it's, for me, like you're saying, anything past the defense, I'm not even worried about that much, because you should be able to win it with what you've got going forward. But it's Southgate, and I just don't trust him.
I mean, like, if we go back to the Nations League for a couple of years ago and we look at the front three, and it was Kane, Rashford, Sterling, it was almost impossible to even contemplate the idea that 1, 2, well, definitely 2 of them, and you never know, potentially 3 of them could miss out on starting. We know that Kane should start, but if he loves an injury, if he gets a knock, it's Calvert-Lewin time. And despite it being Calvert-Lewin, I'm actually quite excited by the idea of it being him, because he will stay up front. And Harry Kane will be looking to win the ball deep, as he did the other day, last week against Austria. He wants to be involved with everything, and we need to leave him up there. And Sterling, I'm worried that he's going to start, because the second half of the season was pretty poor, and I don't trust him to be, or Rashford at that as well. I don't. Well, you can play one side, one the other side, but I don't trust either of them to be able to make something happen in up front, especially if Kane's been sitting deep, because Kane will ping a ball to one of these lot. But I'd rather him ping a ball to Grealish or to Foden. That's what I feel.
Flo, who would you play up front if you was playing 3 up top, or like, I don't know, 3 behind the striker? Who would your forward line be for the English players?
It would be Kane up front, Sancho on one wing, because he had a very good end of the season, and I believe he would have 20 assists, 16 goals, which seems small for him, but still is huge for a player of his age. And I guess maybe Rashford at the right wing, but just because I believe Rashford is more reliable than Raheem Sterling is in terms of doing defensive work, and he's more mature on the pitch. Sterling has, from my point of view, I would love the idea of Sterling and Sancho being on the wings and just assisting Kane all the time, but I'd prefer to have Rashford over there, and maybe bring Sterling half an hour to go when it's half an hour to go, and the defense of the opponents is tired already.
One thing, because obviously you guys watch the Bundesliga a lot more than most people. People have this thing in their head that Sancho is a flying right winger. He's so far from being a flying right winger than anything I've ever seen. I don't think I can't remember the last time I saw Sancho really look to go on the outside and whip a ball in. Like that's not the way he plays, and I think people are expecting him to do that, and that's literally not how he plays. Like today, he was everywhere. He likes to come inside a lot. He likes to play the 1-2s. He likes to bring whoever's playing on the other side into the game as well. And I think that would be one thing I would like to see him do more, is actually cross the ball. Like
you have to remember though, at Dortmund, he is playing in a very fluid side. You know, there's so much interchanging at Dortmund, whereas England is not. England is super rigid. It should be, yeah.
Him and Grealish were doing it quite a bit, but at the same time, when we was talking about Calvert-Lewin up top today, there was about 3 or 4 times where Sterling and Rashford, to be fair, both of them could have crossed the ball, but they didn't. They beat the guy, then he came back for them, and then he beat them again, and then sort of pulled it back to the edge of the box. And you're just like, these things have to be ironed out, because if you've got Calvert-Lewin in the box, you cross the ball to him, because he will make something happen. If he doesn't score, he will knock a defender over. Like every time the ball went into the box, and that's why when people talk about Ward-Prowse, like every ball that he put into the box today, Calvert-Lewin was probably on it or centimeters away from
when
it.
Calvert-Lewin hit the bar, he had no right to hit the bar from there that far out.
Go back and watch my stream. Watch what I said. I was like, oh, this is way too far out. Like nothing's gonna happen from this. Ward-Prowse he's just gonna kick it into the box and nothing's gonna happen. Bloody hell, he puts the ball into a box and from the edge of the penalty box, Calvert-Lewin heads it and hits the crossbar.
Yeah, he said, I want that. I'm having that. But, you know, I think the issue for England and playing the likes of Sancho and Grealish wide, even Sterling isn't a man who's going to go past players and whipping crosses, is you have Shaw and you have either Reece James or Kyle Walker or Trippier who are going to go past those guys. So I think what Southgate will need to do is have that fluid free behind Kane. It's going to be Kane. So whether that be Sancho, Foden, Grealish, Sterling, Rashford, whoever it is, and that's a lot of real talent, you allow them to just interchange between each other, come inside and allow Trippier and Shaw or Trippier and Chilwell, Walker, Chilwell, whoever it is, to go bombing forward, and they can be the guys who swing in the crosses.
Yeah. I mean, like in that 3 and behind, you see Mason Mount in that part as well, because Mason Mount ghosting in on the edge of the box. That's Lampard team.
I'll put Mount at 8. I don't think the only team
like an actual 8 or a false 8.
No, I mean I'd put him in. I'd put Rice as your holding man. I didn't mean that. Sorry, I didn't mean that. I put Rice as your holding man, and I put Mount next to him as a box to box, guy. Because I'm not being funny. We should beat Scotland with our eyes closed. We should beat Czech Republic. The only game I wouldn't put Mount in is against Croatia, because then you probably need a bit more reinforcement in the middle. Yeah. So I probably wouldn't I push Mount up, but I wouldn't have him and just Rice. The others, let Mount sit there with Rice, and you play Foden, Grealish. You have all your stars out there, and you just batter teams. Do you know what I mean? But he won't do that.
No, of course not.
He won't. But yeah, let's get the groups, how we think it's going to finish in this particular group. We'll start with Flo. What's your 1, 2, 3, 4 in this group?
Number 1 is England, but that's maybe because I'm not English and I have always confidence in England. Number 2 is Croatia, because the Czech Republic and Scotland are falling apart from these two very much. And number 3, but that's more a wish than a real expectation, is Scotland as 3rd and Czech Republic as 4th.
You know what? Croatia 1st, England 2nd, Czech 3rd, Scotland 4th. I have no faith in Gareth Southgate. 0.
I think England and Croatia will finish the group both on 7 points. I think they're going to draw. So I don't know how much. Well, in fact, Croatia will finish top because they will score more goals. England, no matter what team they put out, we're not going to see any excitement, any flair. We just had a lovely conversation about what we should see, and we're not going to. So England will win games, but be 1-0, crappy deflections or goals from set pieces. Again, circa 2018. Go through with a goal difference of 2 and for a second. Then Czech Republic will finish third, and then Scotland.
I want to agree a bit with that. I'll say that England and Croatia are going to be joint on 7 points. I'm going for Scotland, Passion Merchants, to finish third and qualifiers. Third best qualifiers, so they will go through just because they will have the most points that finish in third, and Czech Republic to be bottom. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Now, I'm hoping Scotland finish second, but I don't think they will. And who do you think is going to be the leading top scorer in this group?
Kane.
No.
Kane's going to be the top goal scorer in the whole competition.
Kramaric.
I'm going Che Adams.
Kane.
Che Adams.
I'm going Che Adams.
Is that one of your in the nose that told you that?
Listen, going Che Adams, man. I'm going to put a little fiver on it, Che Adams. But guys, that was amazing. Thank you so much. That was mad about the Euros. Again, please make sure that you subscribe to my sports network. Come over to mine, follow me.
Make sure you do that as well.
Yeah, because I'm sure I don't see my name flashing on the bottom there, but it's all right.
Does it not?
I'm okay with that.
Oh my god!
I'm okay with that.
I thought I put it in. My god!
Just type me in YouTube, Big Gunner, or the away days, and you'll find me on there. I wanna just let it ride out for a few more seconds so that Gav can get my name.
Oh my god! I can't believe I sat there and typed it. I clearly didn't save it. Oh my god! I am so sorry.
There we are, the away days, and there we go. That was our predictions. And let's just all hope that England go far and surprise us all. But again, it's Gareth Southgate, same old England. And yeah,
I trust in you.
Thank you. Thank you. You trust
and I would like to see England facing Germany in the knockout stages, because this will be an easy win for us.
Ooh, shots fired already.
Us as in Scotland, us in England, or Germany, or which? I don't know which is us anymore.
Yeah,
us in Germany, England against Germany, and on penalties. So nothing to worry about.
we could take pens now. I think you should have a bit of a panic on. Got big Pickford between the sticks.
Yeah, got Pickford
with the huge arms.
Dinosaur hands and go. All right, boys. So yeah, that was Group D, and make sure you watch out for Group. What comes after D? E. And F, which will be coming tomorrow and the day after that. So thank you again, and make sure you have a good day today, people.